My name is Mark Hill. I'm the senior producer at Perfect World, and playing the game and what you're seeing here is Tony Kim, who's the product manager for Radierz, which is the game we're about to see. Now, the thing about Radierz is it's a monster hunting action MMO, meaning the core of the gameplay is all about hunting the big monsters, but they're extremely difficult, so we highly recommend party-based gameplay. But the thing that makes Radierz most unique is what we call the free-form character progression. So what you'll do first is you'll hit T. T will bring up your skill tree. Now you'll see at the top of the skill tree all four of the base jobs in the game. You can be the defender, the berserker, the cleric, or the sorcerer. So for the beginning of the game and through the tutorial, the learning area, you'll be pretty much focusing on that. However, once you hit level 10, all of the skills from all of the trees will open up to you. So if you want to set up a character that's like a tank style healer or like a DPS long range magic caster, you have the ability to do that. So as you scroll through, I think your character is actually a sorcerer. And actually, as you tap through them, anyone that has a little plus, any skill that has a little plus, is actually a skill that you can learn. So go ahead and click on some of those and hit Y to accept it. So you're learning these skills. So you're learning a lot of cleric skills, even though you're not a base cleric. So you have the ability to learn the skills and the abilities of all the classes in the game. We want players to feel like they actually built the character and the class themselves, not that we built it for them and they're just kind of achieving it now. So we want everyone to feel unique in the world and everyone to have set their character up to their own specifications. Now, as you're learning these skills, take note of your skill tray down at the bottom. It fills up with the skills you're learning, obviously, but some of the skills are black or kind of darkened, which means they're inactive, and some of them are bright, which means they're active. So if you hit tab, tab will cycle you through your different weapon sets. Each character by default carries 2 different weapon sets. So he has the defender, which is the tank style. He has the shield and the one-handed sword. And if you hit tab again, you have the one-handed staff, which is the sorcerer. Now, as you're cycling through weapons, your skill tray at the bottom is changing. Some skills are lighting up, some are going dim, meaning you know they're active or inactive depending on the weapon that you have. What you can actually do if you're trying to branch out your character and make sort of a hybrid character is you can bind your skill tray to a certain weapon set. So if, say you're a hybrid berserker sorcerer, you can put all your berserker skills in one set, and then you can put all your sorcerer skills in another set, and you can bind that skill tray to your weapon. So as you're tabbing through your weapons, your skills will automatically update as well. What that does is it keeps people in the fight. It keeps them playing the game. They don't have to, go to a safe area in the middle of a boss fight and go through the menus and equip and unequip a bunch of things. Everything is available to them right in the moment. Now, I mentioned earlier that Radierz is a very difficult game. All the way from the lower enemies to the biggest bosses, they're very fast and they hit very hard. So we highly encourage group-based gameplay. And there are a couple things that groups can do to kind of help each other out. So the first thing we're going to show is the group guitar playing. So if you hit I, open your inventory. And you'll see these little guitars up here. Go ahead and click on any of them. Double click it. And you equip your guitar. And so take note again, your skill tray is changing here, which is a common theme both in this demo and in the game. Your skill tray is always changing. So go ahead and hit 1, 2, 3, your little notes. And you can turn your volume up if you need to hear it. If you hit 3 is your skill to play a little tune. Good, so this is for groups to get together, play some music, hang out, and then of course, if you hit number 5, you can use it as a weapon. And then you go right back to your original state. Now, the second thing you can do that actually has more gameplay implications is the group feast. So hit I one more time to open your inventory. You'll see at the bottom down here all these brightly colored little food items. Double click on one of those. And you'll start building a little food crafting station. There are 3 different types. There are the vegetables, which you did. There's the meat, which Tony did. And there's a drink one as well. Now, the purpose of this is for anyone in your group to build one of these. And everyone in your group can come and share in the benefits. So go up to one and hit E. And you'll grab the food. And then left click to use it like it's a weapon. And you'll consume it. So consuming the food, depending on the type of food, will offer you some sort of temporary status buff. Maybe something like increased attack or increased defense, decrease incantation speed. It might be an HP, EP regen item. All the different foods do have different types of effects. So this is for when you're out with your party and you're hunting for monsters. If you guys need a little boost or before you go into a raid dungeon, everyone or someone can get together, build one of those, and your entire group can benefit from it. Now what Tony's doing right here is he has his AoE healing spell. However, he's a base defender class. So that's a great example of the freeform character progression, where he's not the cleric. The healing skills are a cleric skill, but he's a defender. However, he taught himself some of those cleric skills. He used his talent points in the cleric talent tree to be able to help his group out as a whole. So now we're going to get into some combat. This little guy's always straggling down there. So if you head up the hill, follow Tony up there, and you'll see what's great about Radierz combat. And we call it dynamic action, dynamic combat. So first of all, it's real-time battles. You're not just arbitrarily swinging and doing damage. You're physically hitting them. You're physically being hit. So you have to be able to dodge with shift, with your pinky while you're moving is dodge, and then right-click is defend. Now what you can see he did right here, he killed that skeleton, and that skeleton dropped his skull, and he's able to pick it up and throw it like a grenade for a high amount of crit damage. The skeleton soldiers, they have bows and arrows, so if you kill them, there's a chance they might drop their bow and arrow too. You can go over it and pick it up with E. If you see something on the ground, go over it and hit E. Nice. Looks like he didn't drop anything. It's always a chance. There you go, that guy dropped his bow and arrow. So now you can you have his bow and arrow equipped. And again, your skill tray at the bottom has changed. So now you have these bow and arrow skills. You only have it for a short amount of time, indicated by the icon in the upper right. So whenever you have a status effect or a buff or a debuff or a temporary weapon, you can see how much longer you have it for in the upper right. Perfect, very good. So no matter what class you are, let's say you're a berserker who's pure melee DPS, you can still go and pick up the bow and arrow and use it for a short amount of time, just like anyone else can. So the purpose of this is to make the combat feel like it's always changing. Your skills and your abilities are always evolving, and you're never just spamming the same attacks over and over again. You have multiple weapons. You can pick up drops off the ground. Now we're in the cemetery, we see these zombies also. This Igucio's corpse, kind of a mid-boss. And when these zombies drop, they can drop either their brain, which will give you an attack increase, or they might even drop a piece of their arm right here, which is a health regen. So all enemies drop something to help you out in the moment. It's not just an item that goes to your inventory that you use for later. It's something that's helping you right now. And so that's how the combat and the action is always changing, and it's always staying fresh. Now really quickly, we're going to see a boss here in a second. And there he is. This boss is a great example of the monster hunting style gameplay that we've been talking about. Multiple different attacks. For example, that one, which he'll sort of vomit on you. He'll slow you down and then swing at you for some big damage. Now he's not just arbitrarily hitting you and his arms aren't going through you and then just showing the damage. He's actually physically knocking you back. And so you actually have to target him. You're the sorcerer and you have like some long range spells you can cast. You have to aim them. It's not like magic missile style where it's going to find him once you target him. So you have to lead him, you have to aim in a certain spot. Tony actually died. So that shows the sort of difficulty level of this game. Is that Tony's a pro, he plays this game constantly, but this boss actually killed him. Now you can see is a good example, what you can see is a good example of bosses have weak points. So this drum that he's always banging is the source of his power. And you can target that drum and destroy it, it'll make him much more vulnerable. It's a great attack right there. He'll pick you up in the ground, he'll pick you up and slam you into the ground. Every enemy, every boss has their own unique attack. Some of the, like the big dragon guy, he'll swoop in and he'll pick you up in his mouth. The frog guys will chew you up and spit you out. There's a big stone golem boss that wields this giant column that can do damage. So every boss battle is unique, every boss is unique. In the game, you're never just doing the same thing over and over again. Now normally, this demo is set up for free. This demo's set up for free, so don't worry about it. We only have 2 playing, you're doing great. And this speaks to the increased difficulty of the bosses and of the action and the combat in general. And I'm getting the signal that our time's up.
Thank you so much. How can people find out more information?
Well, everyone can go to playradiers.com. We're going to have a closed beta coming up soon and then open beta shortly after that.
Thank you.
Thank you.